In the UK, Kneecap are being investigated by counter-terror police in relation to a November 2023 video allegedly showing one band member saying, "The only good Tory is a dead Tory. Kill your local MP." Trevor Ringland is a former unionist politician. He's also, of course, a former Irish rugby international. Trevor, thank you indeed for talking to us this morning. Your reaction to this story?
Yeah, and I suppose I should have said that I was former Northern Ireland co-chair of the Northern Ireland Conservatives, so that probably would designate me as a Tory as well. So um, I've watched Kneecap and I've listened to them and I've seen them evolve and a lot of friends both here and across the water have said they're edgy, they're trendy. Um, the name itself has a certain influence with me because years ago I was involved with Professor Liam Kennedy in a cross-community group, and we were looking at the kneecapping of young people in Northern Ireland and the impact it was having on their lives and the brutality of it that was carried out by the loyalist and Republican paramilitaries. So I didn't think it was particularly edgy or trendy, such a name, and some of the attitudes that were being, I suppose, promoted. And I could come out with a standard line on what I think those comments actually mean. But for me, it's somebody from a pro-union background, but also somebody who cares about all the children of this island and how they develop and what input we put into their lives. Because we looked at those kneecapping years ago, and there was one period we highlighted where 12 young people in a certain area of Belfast within 2 weeks took their own lives. One young fellow recovered from his kneecapping to then be able to physically be in a position to take his own life, which he then did. And as we look to the future, we look at what are we doing with our young people? Are we putting hatreds into them, or are we challenging the hatreds of the past that led to conflict here, that led to the bad attitudes in this island? What's the true character of the Irish people? And to me, this is a debate for Irish nationalism and republicanism. Does Kneecap represent Irish nationalism and republicanism?
Is it? Are they? I mean, is there a danger of taking them too literally? Like they are a satirical band. Are they sending up everything?
Well, I don't follow them as that deeply. I suppose I just feel alienated from them, and then I have meant to watch their film because people do say it's funny at times and all the rest of it. But do they take it too far? Do they, is it a positive influence on our young people? Is it a continuation of some of the elements of the past that fed into young minds? I think that's for Irish nationalism to decide.
The film does send up the paramilitaries. To be fair,
I've heard that. And in fairness, I have meant to watch it.
Specifically in relation to this November 2023 video. The only good Tory is a dead Tory. Kill your local MP. There is. I have heard.
But there's other stuff too. Now I think I'll be right in saying that.
Yeah, but
other comments that they're making, and the fact that they're being looked at by the British police and all the rest of it, that just feeds a narrative of victimhood and of that. But to me, it should be something the Irish should be looking at.
Yeah,
the Irish should be taking on board and saying, "Is this who we are? Is this acceptable?" And the challenge to them should be coming not from people like me, but it should be coming from the people in wider Irish nationalism, because that is not the true character of the people of this island.
Okay. What about the view? I have heard those defending Kneecap saying, look, there's a witch hunt on about them at the moment because they dared be critical of Israel. There is a witch hunt. That people are going through videos of every gig looking for something, looking for a smear against them.
But when you start alleging a witch hunt, you're also looking for victimhood to protect you from proper challenge to things that you're saying. And as I said, it's not for me. I'm from pro-union, British-Irish background. I've represented the whole island. And I think the future is one where we look after all the children of this island and value each other's children as if they are your own. On Israel, I actually had that input with politicians from Israel and Gaza and the West Bank. And I said, my advice to them was brief. I said, value each other's children as if they are your own, and stop killing them. And 20 years after you stop killing them, you'll be able to have a conversation as to how to not do it in the future. And that's about challenging the hatreds, challenging bad influences on young people by challenging ooh-ah up the ra and saying it's not okay to sing these songs. And that's what we're trying to do with those from a pro-union background who are singing sectarian songs, who are coming out with sectarian comments. And we're trying to challenge them and say, no, that's not the way to do it. It's what we're doing. And with other young people in Northern Ireland as well, we're saying those past hatreds, we have to challenge them and look at ourselves and change ourselves. And that's being done successfully across the interfaces in Northern Ireland, where we
Okay.
build relationships between young people.
All
But
right,
this is a
Trevor.
debate no, but it's really important. This is a debate for Ireland to have. Does Kneecap represent nationalism and republicanism? And don't let them try to wrap a cloak of victimhood around themselves. Let them answer the questions themselves, but be properly challenged from people from a national Republican background, because
All
there's
right.
really little point
Fair.
in people like me saying it.
Trevor Ringland, a former unionist politician, former chair of the Northern Ireland Conservatives, former Irish Rugby International. Thank you indeed for talking to Newstalk Breakfast this morning.